All right. Welcome back, family. Welcome back to another episode of Mosaic Entertainment Group Presents. I believe this is episode number 16, I believe. So we definitely get it cracking, family. Thank you for joining me this evening. Before I begin, let's start with a little house cleaning. I want you, if you're on YouTube, I want you to hit that like button. I want you to hit that share button. But most importantly, I want you to hit that subscribe button. All right. So that helps get viewers, that helps get more people to the platform. Also, you can join me on my new website, Mosaic Entertainment Group 7.com. Once again, Mosaic Entertainment Group 7.com is my website. You can check out what I have there, upcoming content. I'm also on Patreon and Facebook and Instagram, all in the Mosaic Entertainment Group. All right. So, boom, got it there. So make sure you hit that like, share, let your people know. Out here in Phoenix, Arizona, we are getting the entertainment, the content creation industry popping. You understand? So we're going to bring a so-called new Black Hollywood, but it's more so like a Black media. We just going to do it right here in Phoenix, Arizona. So you make sure you tune in to Mosaic Entertainment Group. You also catch me on Spotify. You can catch me on iTunes. You can catch me on Anchor as well. So yeah, it's getting out there. So with that said, I'd like to welcome my guest today, brother. Now, how do you pronounce your first name? Is it Jaimel or is it Jamel?
It's Jamil.
Jamil. All right, Jamil. I want this
there's a
the I in
Jamil.
it.
Yeah,
Jamil
it's an
Hill.
I
Okay.
in there, and that throws people off. But
Yeah.
it's Jamil.
All right. So Jamil Hill, welcome, brother. Content creator. I give you that digital round of applause, family. Thank you very much for coming to my show. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to spend a little time with your boy, Jermaine. All right. So I appreciate that very much. So I want you to introduce yourself to my audience. Let them know who you are and what you do.
Oh man, I'm gonna keep it short and brief because my resume is definitely long. With the things that I do and what I'm involved in. But I'm Jamil Hill. Everybody calls me Coach, and I am the creator and developer of hashtag DBWT, which I'm wearing one of the shirts right now. Don't be wasted talent, which is a life coaching and mentor movement. It's not just something basic, run of the mill. It's an entire movement, man, getting people motivated and inspired to really reach their peak potential in their lives and become greater than what they can imagine, and also to dig deep within themselves and unwrap that gift that they have to the divine universe and be someone of great divine purpose for the rest of us. I have several different brands of things going on, but right now, this is the biggest project that I'm working on and developing this brand, which is Don't Be Wasted Talent, getting it into the high schools, into the colleges, just getting it around town, with here in Phoenix, Arizona, as well as California, Nevada, and some of my previous students that I've coached in the past. They're also part of the movement in New York, Texas, and also Florida. So you can find me on Instagram at DBWT888, the number of mastery. Also, I'm on Facebook. The page is on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter at Coach You Up. So that's Coach _ U, the letter U _ the word up at Coach You Up. I'm on Twitter.
All right, man. Thank you very much for that. I hope you got that, family. We will repeat that at the end of the show, so you make sure that you look the brother up and what he's doing. So let me ask you, brother. So what inspired you to even start DBWT, man? Like, what was that spark for you? And I always ask that question.
Right.
Beyond and talent, I want you to get into what talent is, because that's such a broad term. We have these talents that span the spectrum. So
right.
What inspired you to even do that?
The beginning of it, what inspired me personally before the development of DBWT was my past history. I'm a military vet with the Army, Corps of Engineers, been in the Desert Storm, dealt with a couple of deployments in the coup in Haiti. I've been stationed pretty much in quite a few different places, and I ended up in the military because of my hard-headedness and my my stubbornness to change my ways and really do things by routine and principle and standard when I was in high school and college. And man, I messed up a couple of scholarships. I messed up a track scholarship, a football scholarship, and, just wasn't, really applying myself to be, that much of an academic guy. Although tested very high, had been in honors classes, many times, but, it was just something about, following, routine and being, in a specific set of structure, So after that, had some tough times after I got out of the military. I couldn't relate to a lot of people. I couldn't relate to my previous settings. I'm from the Bay Area. I'm from a city called Pittsburgh, California, a few minutes outside of Oakland. And when I went back home, it was definitely hard to adjust, because I had been around the world. I had seen things that we've only seen in school, in the textbook, and only pictures of. I done walked in the buildings that we've only talked about, on a homework assignment. I've touched statues, that we've only seen pictures of. So coming from that, and then going back home, and I didn't have a plan. I didn't have, a real understanding of what the next pages of my life was going to be. What was the transition? So ended up in some trouble, because I resorted back to some old ways, which I didn't have to do. I didn't have to do that at all, but I resorted back to some old ways, got in some trouble. And when I finished doing that, spent some time incarcerated and everything, once that was done, I began to make a promise, because that's when I had kids. It's really tough on a man, when you gotta, sing happy birthday to your son or your daughters over collect call while you incarcerated. Man, that burnt my soul, man. And I made a vow that I would never do that again. And my mother was constantly, trying to uplift me, and speak words of encouragement and empowerment to me, with telling me, use my talents, use my talents, use my talents, And one of the things that, Martin Luther King has said, turn your talents into a skill and use that skill to do something purposeful with your life, right? So years go by, I got kids, I'm trying to, fix my life, trying to get rid of these felonies. And then I decided to get into coaching, because, I knew that sports has and plays a great part in a lot of people's lives, right? And it's not so much about trying to get them to be NFL players or NBA players or MLB or whatever, but it's really to get them to understand the life skills and the different things that they're going to need, in life to be grown men and grown women, right? And evolve and transition from being a male to a boy to a man, which comes from one of my favorite books by Dr. Naeem Akbar, Visions for Black Men, and he discusses the same things for girls. So as time has began to progress, and then making the move from California to Arizona, started getting involved in different youth organizations, and developed my first LLC nonprofit organization, which is Youth Dreams to Reality LLC. And it was all about the youth, all about working in the group homes, all about working with foster kids, all about, because of what my mother was saying to me, and it just kept ringing in my head, use your talents, and some of my talents I have let go rust, but I was a very, very good artist, sketching, painting. At one time, it was a dream that I wanted to work for Disney. I wanted to develop my own comic books, even. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm that good.
Yeah.
I'm that good.
Stories, but I couldn't draw to save my life. I could write the story.
Right. See,
my cousin was the artist. I was the writer.
And I would have met up and paired up perfectly, what I'm saying? You draw, you write, but it just, things, began to really change in my life and in my kids' lives. And because of the fact that, I started to use different talents that I had, and one of those talents was my ability to speak and to motivate and to talk, which everybody feels that they could do it, you know what I'm saying? Because we communicate, using basic language every day, but it's not the same. So I started, studying, different areas of and different disciplines. I started studying different sciences, the psychology, the science of color, the science of sound, and things like that. Because in my coaching, I realized that not everybody receives the same message, in the same way. Not everybody processes information in the same way, and you can't motivate or stimulate, everybody with the same type of stimulus. So as I began to coach in youth sports, and then junior high school, then junior college, and then also semi-pro, a lot of these different methods began to develop as my coaching principle, my philosophy, and my vision, right? And then as my mother's voice continue to use your talents. And then Martin Luther King's, little quote, about turn your talent into a skill, because talent and skill are two different things, right? And just to touch on a portion of the question that you asked me, what is the difference between talent? Because, and I'll say it like this, there's a lot of talented people that are not successful, and there are a lot of successful people that are not talented, right? And talent and skill are two different things. And talent is something that you are able to do. Skill is, when you mastered it, and it's proficient. You're efficient with it. You can utilize it as a tool in order to do something for your life, right? And if you're not, and you don't have to be talented, but you can find something to be skillful at. Right. So as things began to, evolve in my coaching and everything, I was coaching my son's high school team, and me and a parent, we were having a conversation, and he mentioned something that jogged my memory, of a conversation I had with my mother just about 2003, when I was finally getting finished and getting my rights back and getting this expungement done and everything. And, and it was that conversation that the wording, I told my mom, Mom, I'm no longer going to waste my talents. I really got to push forward. I really got to do that. And then having a conversation with this parent who at one time had wanted to be a business partner of mine, in developing this brand. But they fell off, and, no ill feelings or anything like that, no lost love. But it was during a game on, of course, Friday night, varsity, we out there doing it. And it just clicked. It came out, and I just spoke it in one of my, halftime speeches, and just told everybody, hey, it's no longer, you no longer have to live on what you did. You have to reinvent yourself. You have to evolve. You have to take what you have right now and not waste it. You're talented. So right now is the time to use your talent, and be skillful at what we do. Trust the process, and let's not be a wasted talent anymore. And bam.
That's when it hit you.
That's when it hit, because the parent and we were having a conversation, and he mentioned, he said, man, I heard, I was by the locker room, and I heard what was going on and what you were saying. He said, man, that is something profound. That is, man, don't be wasted talent. He said, and it just, we talked about it. We laughed and joked. And then, like a few weeks go by, and we're at practices and things like that. And we're looking at kids making mistakes. We're looking at, guys that are doing the, mental errors and stuff. Like, and we laugh and joke and see that's a wasted talent. See, you can't be big for nothing. Can't be doing this. You know what I'm saying? So it was about 3 years ago, 2017 now, and I just was like, you know what? Let me test myself, because I always do all this talking about stepping outside of your comfort zone, and I listen to, many different podcasts. I listen to the, guys like Les Brown, who's one of my favorites, and I'm not, I'm not a religious person or anything like that, but I don't let that, cause me to disrespect anybody's, beliefs or anything like that. And, I always believe in something that is a part of, a scripture that says, chew the meat and spit out the bones, or, chew that which is righteous and then, get rid of the poison, right? And so, I listened to, T.D. Jakes and Pastor Monroe and, many different other guys. And, I began to realize that, damn, I got this in me. I can talk to people. I have an ability to speak life. I have an ability to, create and this and that, and my words are powerful, because, I love poetry, I love writing, I love reading. One of my favorite, poets, of all time is Paul Laurence Dunbar, and just reading, some of his things that he wrote, and then reading things by many other poets and great authors, Zora Neale Hurston and Maya Angelou, and even the Donald Goines, books,
Right.
which I would love if they turned those into, some type of movie series or something.
Right. That would be dope. That would be dope. Yeah.
Man, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? I mean,
that would be something.
One of my, one of my favorite books was, Black Girl Lost. So it was that got me to realize that I have something to offer, because I was living a lie pretty much. I was living, with so many different skills, so many different talents, that I could use. And I was just focusing on the fact, of making a living, I got to get a job. I got to work to 9 to 5. Yeah. I got to, what I'm saying? I was living someone else's narrative. I was living, someone else's pipe dream. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I was hanging on to somebody else's, fabrication, of what they felt every man needs to be and what every man needs to do. And that is so not me. Because I am anti-routine, I am anti-schedule, I am but I realize that in some cases, and in many different ways, in order to truly be successful, you do need those things. You do need routine, you do need structure, you do need the schedule, you do need, and then when I started to really, get deeper into discipline, and I had to face myself in the mirror. Man, what are you doing? You got kids. You have sons, you have daughters, you got nieces, you got nephews, you got younger cousins, you got younger, sibling. I got a few, siblings that are younger than me, but I also have older siblings that are older than me, But at the same time, looking at all of that and facing myself in the mirror, it was that final light switch that just flicked, just like, man, you ain't shit. You ain't doing shit. You ain't gonna be shit if you continue to tolerate and accept and be complacent and allow mediocrity to overshadow your life. And you're going down a path that you just came back from. Sooner or later, you're going to end up right back where you just came from, and I went through, a serious, and every once in a while I still deal with it, because mental health is one of those things that is serious amongst our community and our people. And I was dealing with it. I was dealing with clinical depression and had no idea. Was dealing with PTSD, had no idea. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't talk about that shit. Right. We don't talk about those things. No, you know what I'm saying?
Right. It's not part of what we do. It's not. It's a taboo, and it's a shame that it's that way. And let me tell you this, man. I could see why the universe brought us together in the way that it did, because everything that you're saying and everything that you're personifying at this very moment, pretty much encapsulates my art. And what I say is, I always, these are what your life are the images that I want to put out there into the world. So what you do, I have scripted and stuff, because I want to show the world, yes, there are Black men that actually, you know what I'm saying? I want to restore, their humanity.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah. First and foremost.
That's my whole purpose for even creating our humanity. And your story are the types of stories that I write, because I'm seeking to restore our humanity, mine at the same time. And we have similar paths, because I myself had to go through the same journey. back in 2000, I told myself when my kids were really little, when I only had 2 of them at the time, that I need to stop doing what I was doing. I wasn't getting in trouble. I was kind of involved in a religious movement, and I consider myself a spiritual guy. But just to make a long story
short, I've been there, done that too, man.
Yeah, man. I went that route, man, and then my whole thing off. But I came to a realization that I'm a talented person.
Yeah.
And I need to be, and I have a multiplicity of abilities, but I need to use my strengths to no longer operate outside of myself by being Mr. Corporate guy, which is the path that I've been on, Mr. Responsible, Mr. Take care of your family, Mr. 9 to 5, Mr. Get up, because everybody, you just said it, everybody is what I was supposed to do. That's the I'm supposed to do. I have kids, I got young kids, 9/11 just happened. I had to, find a job because I lost my job due to 9/11. So I had to and I had to do
and see and during matter of fact, during that 9/11 time, I was incarcerated during that, during the 9/11 situation.
Wow.
And man, it was it was off of a humbug because I had already been released. I had but they were doing an investigation on something else and set up, another little trap, those probation traps and those parole traps, man, they got them out there. And I apologize for interrupting and everything, but I just wanted to add on to what you were saying, that with those probation traps and those parole traps was also part of the reason why I really felt that I needed to develop something and truly give back, in more than just words, but put some action behind what I believed in, and part of that, the reason why I say that is because we got a lot of cats that's locked up, young and old, that when they're in, they're in and they're part of, the institution, and a lot of them become institutionalized because they've been in and out for so long, or they've been in so long that when they do come out, they don't know how to stay out. They don't have a plan. And a lot of times, man, we move so ambiguously. I'm a huge chess player, man. I done played, chess with cats around the world in different countries, not just online, but actually in person, during my time in the military and some of my travels, man. And chess, man, to me, those principles and even the esoteric knowledge of chess and the philosophy behind it, man, you bring that to life when you really understand that chess and life are so similar that you cannot move without a purpose and a plan. You can't just be ambiguous with the things that you do. You can't just be ambiguous with your thoughts, right? Because as Malcolm was, and as Malcolm has repeated, he said, that everything starts in the mind. Your thoughts create, your feelings and emotions. Your feelings and emotions, cause you to want to act. Your actions before you act, they might come out as words, and a lot of those words, tend to create your destiny or whatever's happening. Right, which takes us into the other teachings and understandings of I create that which I speak. Abracadabra, or speak that, or speak that into existence. Right. But it all starts in the mind. So from that point of me dealing with incarceration, and then knowing that so many of our brothers and sisters are dealing with incarceration, and it's not just those that are locked up, it's the families too, it's the children, it's the community, it's everybody that knows who you are, who is connected to you and affected by that, by you being incarcerated. So I really felt, man,
those are stories you don't hear.
Right, because they're pretty much incarcerated as well.
Exactly.
They're incarcerated as well. And developing DBWT, Don't Be Wasted Talent, was also it was developed with also that in mind. How can I help those that are in, that once they get out, how can we develop plans to stay out? Or if I can get a hold to you, visiting the juvenile detention centers, visiting the probation centers, getting into the high schools, getting into the junior highs, discussing with the kids, certain things, how to develop, because right now, man, nobody's being educated. Nobody's being educated because nobody really understands what real education is. Just because you can count 1, 2, 3 and say ABC, that's not true education, right? Don't get me wrong. Yes, it's what we need. Yes, it's what we need because it's part of the language and everyday operations. But you got cats that's in college getting degrees with grasshopper reproduction on Mars, you know what I'm saying? Or getting degrees in basket weaving 101. And people, oh, he's a college, he went to college. He's college educated. He's a college grad. Well, guess what? A lot of the people that's running this fucked up government are college educated and got multiple degrees. They're a bunch of educated dummies. So what really is education if you can't take care of yourself? If you can't develop 3 to 5 or even 7 streams of income in order to provide for yourself and for your family? What is real education if you can't change a tire? What is real education going on in the schools if you can't balance your checking and your savings account or even understand principles of investing? What is real education if you have no idea, no clue? Because if your parents, you can only teach what you know. So if your parents don't know how to teach you how to buy a house because you've lived in an apartment for so long, then what really is the education pieces that's going on in these school systems?
Right.
That's why DBWT is definitely needed. Not that I need to, take over or the movement needs to take over of what parents are doing or what people are doing or what the school, but it's that supplemental education.
Yes. Yes.
That supplemental education that's needed for a community to not just survive, but to thrive. And too many of us, we're doing the basic. We're surviving.
Right.
We're surviving.
That's been my Achilles heel, just on as you get caught in that survival mode, not realizing that how it's really affecting your family. That because you're not growing. You're not growing as an individual because you're on this rat race and you're not growing. So I had to come to a point.
You being an android.
Yeah. You're like, and it causes so much strain in yourself and in your family. So I had to come to a point myself where I had to say, you know what? I have to figure out what the hell I need to do. I can't, because I knew Mr. Corporate Guy, though I can do it because I'm able to get by on my wits. I can do it. But that's not who I am. Who I am is this guy that likes to have conversations like this. Who I am is this guy that writes stories. Who I am is this guy who builds relationships. Who I am is a guy who's a natural teacher and healer and counselor, spiritualist, who has an ability to create images as well.
That is a great skill that so many will dismiss as you ain't legit, you ain't official. Why? Because I didn't go to an Ivy League school. Why? Because I don't have a piece of paper that said, this is just a piece of paper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you read every single textbook or every book that there is that a neurosurgeon or neurologist have to read or they have to study, doesn't that make you just as well as educated as them? You just don't have the practice. You just don't have the practical, use of the tools, and you're not doing any surgeries and everything. But put you in a room with a bunch of neurosurgeons and neurologists and psychologists and psychiatrists and things like that, and you could talk that talk.
Talk that circles around them, and even apply spiritual principles to what they know.
Because that's what they don't add in. They make that separation and cut it off. It's like castrating the mind from its true self.
Right.
We're going to give you these concepts. We're going to give you this content, but we're not going to let you understand the context. You know what I'm saying? Because content and context are two different things as well.
Absolutely. See, they don't teach that difference as well.
No.
Education is self-development. It's continuous self-development. Continuous, and that's what they understand. I'm approaching midlife, you know what I'm saying, but I teach my kids all the time who are now in their young adulthoods, to never stop developing. Just because you graduated from someone's institution doesn't mean you stop. You continue.
Right. Because life is a university within itself. Every day is a lesson.
Absolutely, and if you don't take that time, life is going to pass you by. Before you know it, you're going to be 50 and then realize what the hell you did with it. And that's the worst feeling you could possibly have. So I wanted to avoid that by developing myself And what you're seeing right now, this conversation we're having, what you're seeing right now in front of you is that process of my development into something that I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? And not something that I'm socialized into being.
Right. And that hits on another important reason why this movement has to live, is because we got a lot of folks now with us being parents, right? My youngest is 19, right? He's in college, and all 5 of mine, 3 girls, 2 boys, you know, they've been through high school, college. You know, the baby boy, he's in college right now. And as young adults, we still have to continue to be their parents, because we were 21 already.
Yes.
We've been 22. We did 25. We did 30.
Yes.
They didn't.
Yes.
So just as they were babies and coming up and growing, you know, you helped them get through their childhood years. You helped them get through their teenage years. You gave them the lessons and some of the talks and examples, and you tried to do the best and in being a living example for them as you could. And many of us, we fell off. We fell off. I myself, man, there's a lot of things I wish I could have redid, you know, with my kids in younger ages. But now that they're adults, now that I have kids over 21, the youngest, you know, 19, but now I still got to be their father, because I have to be their adult life father now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Just had that conversation with myself today. Yes.
Man,
yes.
and it's like, now let's see, you living on your own. Yes. Let me help you with a few things.
Yes.
Let me give you a couple of things that these are the mistakes I made. This is how I made them. This is why I made them. This is when I made them. And this is the reason that I made them. This is the outcome of some of those mistakes. Yes. So now let me show you, you know, how to get past that with this. But let's take your intuition, let's take your knowledge, let's take your experience, and let's mix it in together, so that way we can really find a better way to help you navigate through these trips, traps, and snares that's getting ready to get you caught up. Right? So now once we do that, you know, then it not only becomes me being your parent, but it's me correcting and fixing a lot of the mistakes. So now we're getting ready to go through something new together. Right. So that way we gonna survive. We're gonna survive. We're gonna get through this. And then it's time to get to the next level. Because sooner or later you're gonna be 40. You wasn't 40 before. I'd have been 40. Right? I'll be 50 in 3 years. So I believe I should be continuously being, you know, not that helicopter parent. I'm hovering over your shoulder. I'm always in your business. I'm always, you know, checking. But just like you do with a mentor and a mentee, every once in a while, let me do a pulse check. Let me see how you're doing. Let me make sure you're reading. Let me make sure you're studying. Hey, I found some new materials. I'm gonna just throw it out there. It's up to you. If you want it, cool, got it. Yeah, I got some instruction. Oh man, I came across something the other day. I learned something new. So I want to, you know what I'm saying, I want to make sure I really understand it, and I want to try and teach it to you. And then I want to take you to the source so we can go over it again. Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? But as a parent, a lot of times, man, we miss these things because it's like we've been conditioned by social engineering and a lot of bullshit that thinks that just because my kid then graduated high school, just because my kid then turned 18, just because he's now 21, come on.
Good. Now, no.
Right.
Continues.
Right. Right. And I ain't even getting into the financial side, but you know, and the business side, but just the tip of the iceberg of the psychological side.
Yes.
Because your mind, you have to deal with certain things on a certain mental level and aptitude that can get you over and get you through.
So let me ask you this, man, because this is how I was rationalizing in that exact conversation. This is what I was telling myself.
Right.
So what I need to do is to continue to elevate myself so I can meet my kids where they are when they're at those particular levels. So I can't stop growing. Like I can't kick my feet back up, because you know what? My youngest is going to be 18 next month. Okay, and my oldest is going to be 26. I mean, not all this month. The end of this month, he'll be 18.
Right. Right.
26.
Right.
And I'll be 50 in 2 years. Okay.
Right.
So I sit back and I look and I said, okay, no, my job is not going to be over. You know what I mean? My job is just beginning, because now that I see where the seeds that I planted fell on some bad ground, I see where I didn't plant the right seeds, and now everything is coming to fruition from their childhood. So now it's like, okay, you know, even my daughter had to call me out on some things that I thought that I was doing right about myself, and she called me out, man, and that started something in me. This was about a month ago. That started something in me, man, where I really dug in even more and said, I'm going to be even more intentional, and I'm going to grow even more as a man, not just as a father, but as a man.
As a man.
To evolve.
As a man.
Man. My father is just a role. Man is what I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Father is my role. I use some manhood in there, but man is what I am.
Right.
Not
being
that's
being that father. Being that, it's like understanding like this. Being the father is just it's the talent, but being the man is the skill.
The skill. There you go. That's it. That's it. That's it right there. Perfect.
And
that's
man,
it.
Let me tell you, when your kids call you out on your bullshit, that's when that lesson of like and respect really comes into play, because you see it and you feel it, because it's too many of us that are looking for likes and confusing it with respect. So I've been called out by my kids on my bullshit several times, and I've been hard headed. No, that wasn't You gonna get humbled. You will be humbled. If you really love them, and if you really care for them, and you really cherish everything, man, you gonna get humbled. And I done got called out by my kids on my bullshit, and I got humbled. I got humbled. And
my mouth, she says, "You not listening. You just talking." I mean, the minute I tried to even go, but no, you already know. That's what she kept saying, and she's driving when she does this. You not listening. Just listen. And when I shut the hell up, man, and I said pride out the fucking window, okay? And just listen. So I said, okay. And I literally went limp, and I just listened to everything she had to say, man. Man. It hit like darts.
You ain't gonna like it, but you respect it.
I respect it.
You respect it.
Absolutely.
And like Granny used to say, hey, listen to me twice the first time, because you got 2 ears. Listen to me twice the first time.
Yes.
And keep your mouth closed, and you'll be able to obtain what I'm trying to give you.
Yes.
And man, I tell you, because listening, that's a skill. That's a part of communication.
That's a skill.
And as fathers, man, there's a lot of us that don't do that well at all. We don't do that well at all. And there's many of us that do, but we don't see a lot of that. We don't hear about it. It's not put into social media. It's not put, you know what I'm saying?
Not put in anything that we involve ourselves in. And that's why I created Mosaic Entertainment Group, because that is what I want to show. This conversation, we need to see this on the screen, on a show where our people can relate, especially Black men, can sit and relate. It's me. That's the conversation I have with, you know what I'm saying? And that is more than money. You know what I mean? That's now saying screw everything we've been taught for the last years. So nah, man, here's our humanity, and we're gonna take control of this narrative. And that's what we're gonna do. We gotta do it. And self-development as Black men, I preach that. And I only do it because I'm actually in the process. I'm not just talking. This is a manifestation.
If you wasn't in the process, because if you wasn't in the process, there would be no effect. There would be no validity to what you're saying, what you're doing. You wouldn't be respected, and you wouldn't be appreciated. None of that.
Absolutely.
None of that good shit, because if you wasn't in the process. But being in the process means you believe in what you
what you're doing and what you got going on. You have a vision. You've developed a greater understanding of things, and your comprehension has evolved, as well as your maturity. That's a big piece. That's a big piece, you know, and take it back to the beginning when you mentioned, you know, it's all about really restoring and celebrating humanity. We could deal with that. If we could deal with that and just stay on that focus, man, let's get to our human selves.
Yes.
We understand that we gotta, you know, we gotta deal with our Asiatic self. We gotta deal with our indigenous self. We gotta deal with our Moorish self, our Hebrew self, our Islamic self. We gotta, you know, and you know, I self-law master. We gotta deal with that, right? We gotta deal with, you know, being a nation of earth, you know, and gods, you know what I'm saying? We gotta deal with that. But at the end of the day, dealing with all of that, our spirituality and different things and the different, you know, schools of thought and the different, you know, disciplines, it all comes back to, man, I just want to be human.
That's it.
I just want to be human. I want to get rid of the racism. I want to battle racism, white supremacy, and abolish, you know, the abusers of white privilege. I want to do that. But why am I doing it? I'm doing that because at the end of the day, I just want to be human. At the end of the day, I want humanity to rise. I want that humanity to be resurrected to where we can just live a life. And we don't have to continue screaming out Black power and Black lives matter and this and that. We don't have, you know what I'm saying? That's a greater evolution.
Absolutely.
Let's get to that humanity.
Let's get to that. The challenge is, and what I always like to look at it and then also observe what the challenges are. Mm-hmm. And what we're battling, because we're at this time now, we're battling for our spirits, we're battling for our souls.
Yeah.
It's a battle of ideas. It's a battle unlike, like the scriptures say, any other battle you've ever seen before. We're in the beginning phases of this apocalypse. You know what I'm saying? So right now it's the battle of ideas before it gets to, you know, more tangible things. You know what I mean? So right now we're dealing with that, and we are responsible for the restoration.
Yeah.
Humanity.
Because ain't nobody else gonna do it.
No, but we have to get to that. We have to develop ourselves to even see that. Like, how do we, you got to think, man, we're in what, 500 years of darkness? You understand what I'm saying? 500 years.
500 and some change.
Yeah. Just darkness. And then all of us, you know, not all of a sudden, but gradually within the last 30 years, because we're from the same hip hop generation X. So for the, we've seen the changes. We're the children of the civil rights movement. So we've seen the evolution from Motown to hip hop. We've seen the technology. We've seen the changes. We've also seen the hypocrisy. We've also seen where the country's gone left. And as we develop into adults, man, we're passing this world on to our kids, man. So we have to show those images. We have to wrest that narrative from the world that we're not human and put our humanity on full display, but that leaves us vulnerable, and that leaves us in a position of re-educating our
you just hit a nerve with a word you just said. And I'm not saying the nerve with me, but you just hit a nerve with that word vulnerability. Man,
we have no.
It's so many of us that fight because it's a fear of being vulnerable, and a lot of things and the mistakes and the misdirection and misguidance and even the misinformation and miseducation happens because of that I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to feel vulnerable. I don't want to be a part of anything that's vulnerable. I don't respect vulnerability. I don't, you know what I'm saying? And so we look and we end up in so many different situations that, man, had we just developed a sense of trust, had we really accepted constructive criticism, had we really taken account and taken serious, appreciation of being held accountable, we might have been able to, you know, be like, you know what, bro, hey, I really need a brother right now. I really got some things I don't understand what's going on. You know, you may not know, but I just need to get this off my chest. And I apologize if I'm burdening you with this. And if it's too much, man, stop me, but just help me find where I could get some help.
Right.
That right there.
Right.
That vulnerability.
Yes. Yes.
That just like dealing with mental health, man. You know, I done been through, you know what I'm saying? Damn, I'm ready to end it all phase. I done been ready to, you know, I'm like, man, I done thought about jumping off the bridge. I done thought about hanging myself. I done thought about pulling the trigger. I done thought about, let me pop a couple of pills. I done thought of that racing through my mind constantly. And it was there so much, like, you know, that demon was beating me in my head, you know, and I'm getting headaches thinking about it. I mean, man, I can't do it no more.
Right.
I'm just ready to be done. But then that vulnerability issue, man, I can't tell nobody. I don't want to seem like no punk. I ain't no punk, but I'm thinking about thoughts to do that, and that's going. You're a punk anyway. You
right.
giving up on me,
right?
Motherfucker, you trying to end it all. You giving up.
No.
You ain't even reached a pinnacle peak. You haven't even done anything with you haven't even given 100% effort at anything. But not only just not 100% effort, it's just like the saying goes, you know, effort does not take the place of consistency. So you haven't even allowed yourself to trust the process enough to be consistent at something.
Yes.
So you can overcome. You know, in the military, we love saying that adapt and overcome. Or we have to adapt and overcome. Yeah, but well, what does that really mean? Right. What does that look like? How do you apply that? How do you teach it?
Right.
How do you learn it? You know, how do you live it? But that vulnerability.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. And that I get that from, you know, studying the Bible, man. And
yeah.
the more I think about the life of Christ, man, when people didn't understand when he said that he, you know, he is the Father and the Father is in him. But he also, people also didn't understand that parable when he talked about receiving the kingdom as a child. That's a child is what? Vulnerable. You have you have to receive the good news that you can control your own destiny, but you have to receive it with a vulnerability, because you have to every day. You have to leap every day to do it. So this good news is that you can do it, but you have to receive it as a child.
Right.
You don't receive it as a child, meaning humility, vulnerability, you cannot receive the kingdom. So that's what we're trying. And the kingdom is within you. So the kingdom is when you fully
which is why I constantly press cats about stop looking outside.
Yes.
For someone to save you. Stop looking to other organizations. Stop looking to other people. Stop looking to, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and just to, you know, as you mentioned, you know, the life of Christ and everything, you know, one of the things that he said, you know, let thine vision be singular and thy body will be filled with light. You know, and we all know that deals with principles of elevating, you know, the third eye and opening up and being able to activate our crown chakras and everything like that. But that there's a process within all of that. You know what I'm saying? To where your vision is singular. So we could take that in many different ways, as we know that much of the book has been written in parables and in lessons, you know, for us to understand. Well, one of the things is having a singular vision is unifying as a people. Men becoming unified to understand how to better be fathers. Men unifying how to be better brothers to one another, and as well as in our family, in our bloodlines and lineages, right? Singular vision, you know, having a greater understanding of what's important now, the what's important now, right?
Absolutely.
Then being fulfilled and becoming illuminated, you know, our bodies become, you know, filled with light. But what is that light? Your spirit is finally evolved. You're actually able to shine like the star you are because you're actually doing something of a purpose. You're not just a lump of flesh anymore. You're no longer wasted talent because you made the decision. And you made the decision and stuck with the decision that you had, and elevated it and kept it on fire with passion and desire. And then you did what? You fell in line and acted in execution of discipline.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So I mean, it's man. I mean,
so
bro, we can
we can go on this forever, man. And you know what? And that's good because it all ties in, man. That's why I want
it all ties in.
Because it all ties into why a physical manifestation of everything we're talking about is Mosaic.
Yeah. Right. It is Mosaic. And I really appreciate it. I thank you very much for having the vision to see, because a lot of us, here's the thing, this is another thing about being wasted talent. A lot of us, we lay in the bed, we sitting there, we might be talking with our girl or our homeboys, even the kids. You might even be talking with your pets, your dog. You know, I used to talk to my fish a lot. You know, I love fish, right? I used to talk about, man, I have conversations, you know, and just talk, you know, but you really putting things out in the divine universe. And the universe is listening. The universe is listening, right? Yes. And it's actually, when it's listening, things are starting to align. And you know, as I said before, the translation and understanding of abracadabra, I create that which I speak, right? Yes. Things are coming into alignment, and but you just talking, you just dreaming, you just, you know what I'm saying? You just thinking about it. You just, oh yeah, had another idea. I didn't write it down. I didn't put a plan to it. I didn't think that, you know, a formula of that aptitude would work. I didn't think that, you know, I could make it manifest into something. So yeah, people always tell me I'm crazy. Okay, that's where we gotta stop. If we got an idea, if we got a vision, if we gotta just act, what do you got to lose?
Yeah.
What do you have to lose?
Right. What do you have to lose? And it's a continuous conversation. And my outlet is I journal. So right behind my desk here, I have a stack of handwritten notes, and at least I would say, from what I could see from here, about 9 legal pads, about 12 composition binders, and a bunch of and I have a binder in here from 2005 where I kept notes for an entire year that I was typing at my law firm job and printing out, because I had a little printer. So I was able to, so I've been doing this since about 2005, man, where I've been kind of, and it's been, and that just shows you, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that just shows you what it really takes. My desire was for wisdom. That's the first thing I ever prayed for, just like Solomon, was wisdom. So there's a scripture that talks about, you know, when you desire wisdom, the first thing in desiring wisdom is desire of discipline.
Right.
Discipline is going to bring you to everything that you desire, because if you, so that's where I kind of said, okay, let me do this, man. Let me develop the discipline so I can get the wisdom and then line it with the desire to manifest everything that I want to happen, man. And that's a process that I don't think a lot of us are willing to actually go through, because it's not immediate. It's not, you know, tomorrow. And then being married, I've been married for 23 years. So my wife seeing me go from one person and kind of evolve into, she's always, I've always been in the books and reading and studying, but, you know, evolving into a point to where I look at her and say, I have to separate from you in a sense, because I have to develop into something better for you. You know what I'm saying? Something better. Something better for them. So it's an intentional effort. And like I said, it's 2020. This is 15 years of a consistent effort of trying to develop and grow and be better, and losing most of the time, man. And I mean,
and the beautiful thing about consistency is strength and power. Consistency is strength and power. So the more you did it, the more you believed in what you were doing, the more she believed in what you were doing, and the more that you stayed active and disciplined, you got stronger in what was going on. It began to grow and develop. I mean, because, you know, when anything that happens in life, if it's not strong enough, it won't survive. But the only way it gets stronger is by consistent nurturing. You know what I'm saying? You know, I done heard a lot of old folks, you know, say that what you nurse or what you rehearse is what you nurse. And the more you rehearse that, you know, turning this into something successful, and turning this into something that the people can get behind, and the people can see that, oh man, this is what we need versus what we want. Because, you know what I'm saying, we get a lot of things of what we want, but it's not necessarily what we need. So the more that you put your time into it, the more you invested in this, the more sweat equity, the more nights that you stayed up till 3 and 4 in the morning, and sometimes even 24 hours working on an idea, journaling, writing, and everything like that, you begin to really make this manifest because of what you were putting into it. You realize, yep, some seeds that fell on bad ground. Yep, I didn't water that one enough. Damn, needed some other nutrients. You know what I'm saying on that one. Oh man, I gave some seeds to a cat that pretended he was a farm. He wasn't real with that. So now I done casted you know what I'm saying? I done casted pearls before swine. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, and so now, you know, here we are having a discussion and a conversation, you know what I'm saying, and still putting something into Mosaic Entertainment, because, you know, and the word mosaic is beautiful.
Yeah, that's a
word mosaic is beautiful, man. That yeah. I dig into etymology and on different things, but man, I tell you, man, just to understand that right there, yeah, I could definitely say, you know what I'm saying, you are not a wasted talent, because you have turned your talent into a skill and applied it to your ethics, and you applied it to your belief and your understanding of what's important and what is needed. And you just sprinkled in some discipline, and bam, here it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yeah.
I need to keep it going, man. And I try to tell I do tell. I have 2 boys, 2 girls. And my oldest, she has her own life, got a 6-year-old granddaughter. She out there in Texas, you know, with her little
family. Right on.
She's doing her thing, so I'm proud of her.
The
younger 3 are still here. My son under her, he's about to head off back to school, studying medicine next week.
Okay.
And then my youngest daughter is a little entrepreneur. She's trying to do her thing. And my youngest is about to head off to school too. He's a little basketball player. So
right. Well, hey,
you know what I mean? And I always tell them, number one, each one of them, I always tell them, be better than me. Okay. You've seen what I've been through the last 20 years. I say, you seen how you was raised. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was there, we was there, but we didn't have money. You know, it was a struggle. It was this and that. Take those lessons.
Right.
Take my life. This is what I tell my children, literally word for word. Take my life as a living testimony.
Yeah.
What not to do, but how to fix the things
that
you know you should fix. So that's the lesson. So if I die tomorrow, you know that Dad told me to look at the things that made me angry about him because I couldn't do this and that, to let me prepare myself so I can take those lessons and better, and then put it into my children. And then therefore, when I look at my granddaughter, I could say, my daughter got it right, because my granddaughter came to me and said,
see, that's, man, I love it. I love it. You know, me and my business brother, Thurston, he's been on me about, you know, getting my writings and things together, man. And, you know, a few of our other friends and business associates and affiliates, man, have been, you know, like, Mel, you gotta put some stuff together, man. You gotta, you know, and, you know, Thurston, my business brother, he actually put a book together, and it's a really nice book, has a little workbook to it, of helping develop, you know, yourself with some of the basics, but it goes into detail and explaining, you know, why these little basics of goal setting and analyzing and using the analytics of your daily life And not just time management, you know what I'm saying? Because time management is really, you can manage time all day, but you know, time really doesn't exist. Just watches and clocks exist. But the management is your focus. And that's one of the things that, you know, he's dealing with in his book, you know, dealing with your focus and managing your focus to no longer confuse activity with accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? Because we can move around and do all kind of shit all day long. You know, I could get out there and run around the park, you know, but if I don't have something that I'm really trying to achieve and I'm putting, you know, my goals and everything together, you know what I'm saying? I'm confusing activity. I'm just being active, right? And so now,
don't confuse
right,
with progress.
Right. Don't confuse activity with accomplishment. And some of what you're talking about right now with passing on a lot of these lessons and everything is coming up in the next book that he and I are co-authoring, and we haven't figured out, you know, the grand title of everything yet, but, you know, we're putting a lot of different things in there of you know, with self-development, but not just self-development, but also transition, right? Because you could develop yourself all you want to, but if you don't know how to transition, meaning if I don't know how to take this and pass this on to my son, to my daughter, to my nieces and my nephews, my cousins, my sisters and brothers, if I don't know, you know, if I can't take what I'm learning how to better myself and then finding ways how people can do it with their own unique self, because none of us are the same. You know what I'm saying? We may be the same, but we're not the same. You know, so everything that we learn, we have to be able to transition. We have to be able to transcribe. We have to be able to translate. We have to be able to, you know, to transmute, you know, into something and someone else. So that way, this is how legacy and lineage, right, is developed and built.
Yes.
You know, so exactly, man. So what you saying, man, you ain't saying nothing slick to a can of oil, but I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it, you know, and I just, man, I'm telling you, bro, hey, you something else. You something else. Yeah. I'm gonna go and put my feather on you real quick, man. I'm gonna put my feather on you real quick, man. And yeah, you something else. Yeah, you something else. Yeah, for real. Man.
And you know what? It's a battle. It's a battle within itself, man, because you know, it's I'm seeing the walk itself. I always have to guard myself, you know what I'm saying? Because like you said, you find yourself slipping back sometimes into your old ways and things like that. So, and that happens, you know, I have habits and I'm like, damn, why do I keep, you know, and this is one particular habit, you know, of mine that I need to like really focus in and zero in, that I really need to change. And you'll see the difference once I lock in, like really lock in. But I want people to even understand, man, you have to break your life down to even that very molecule. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to really do the heavy lifting of detaching the things that leave you attached to the things that's fucking you up. You know what I'm saying? So this thing that I know I need to overcome is going to lead me out of this particular element that I'm in that could be hindering me from achieving a certain thing. So it's even taking it to that point, man. But I definitely appreciate that, man. And those are lessons that I'm definitely, you know,
that detachment.
A better dad, man. I think being a better father is making me a better observer of myself.
And that goes back to detachment. So in some of the things that I've been, you know, recently reading and researching and studying and everything, man, and even some, you know, some older military stuff, you know, from my days in the Army, you know, detachment meant more than just, you know, a disconnect, because the understanding of a detachment, right, as this one brother put on his podcast and also in his book that I was reading, you know, I'm going to develop this into one of my little classes, little video classes pretty soon, is, you know, the detachment is actually just, you know, taking a step back. Let me get a better view of some things, right? Let me calm myself down. Let me get out of my ego. Let me get out my feelings. Let me get up off my shoulders. Let me take a step back. Let me pause for a minute. Let me ease up on my attack, because whatever I'm doing, I'm burning a lot of energy. I'm burning a lot of this. I'm wasting a lot of that. I'm wasting, you know what I'm saying? Let me step back, put my defense up, and then let me take another look and let me analyze. So within that detachment, now, you detach, you get a better view, you get a better understanding, you can see things a little bit more clear, and then bam, it comes to you. Okay, now let me re-engage. Because now I'm able to go ahead and go forward. I don't figure this something out, because so many of us are so focused on, I gotta be successful, I gotta do. So now we acting like horses with blinders on, just running on the track, and we don't realize, we can't look down, we can't look left, we can't look right, we ain't even looking up, we just looking straight ahead. You know what I'm saying? We can't tell what type of ground we're running on. We can't tell if anybody is actually next to us. We can't even tell if there's really a threat. But we so focused forward that the real thing that we need to see is probably somewhere over there. So we gotta let me detach. Let me just take a breath. Let me take a look. Let me re-examine this thing.
Yeah.
Once you do that, then okay, now let's re-engage. I don't need to be here. I need to be here. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't need to be with these people. I need to be with those people. I don't need to have this conversation anymore. I need to have that conversation.
Yes.
I don't need to continue to believe this, because here's new information that is out, and I need to take what is great out of this, mix it with what's great with this, and let me go ahead and move forward, right?
Yep.
It's that evolution, but it's that consistency that is developing the strength and developing the power to resist, all of the bullshit, the power to overcome all of the negativity and all of the, the stuff that's weighing you down, the power to be able to cut bait when you really need to let some things go. You see what I'm saying? That power to continue to move forward, that power to continue to pull, that power to continue to push,
and power to know when you need to stop. And
right.
Right. For once,
right.
The power to know when you really should take a pause and really should examine, just like you're saying. So it's not only the power to pull and to get things going, but it's also the power to say,
yep.
Let me just sit still for a minute. And that's what I think, that's where Christ, I think, really, and this is why I like, I think Christ actually existed. I think he walked the planet. I think he did.
Yeah, everybody, everybody got their own thing, and I'm one that thinks something different, but I'm not gonna dismiss what I can learn, or the pieces that come, that come from, because just like it says, be careful for nothing.
Right.
Just like it says, prove all things with evidence. You know what I'm saying? Right. Just like it says, as a child, I thought as a child, I spoke as a child, I did. But then when I became a man, you know what I'm saying? And then as it says, as a man thinking. So all of these many different things. No, you may not believe, you may not want to accept, but when it's something that's logical and intelligible, when it's something that can give you a receipt, and when it's something that can give you an invoice of knowledge, like, man, I got this and I've been able to do that. I've been able to take what was said, with this, and then I was able to do this and succeed. So you know what? I got to take that. I'm willing to keep this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, thy rod and thy staff comfort me. Well, let's translate it.
Let's translate that, yeah.
Let's translate it. Put on the whole armor, but let's translate it. If it's not something that oh man, I ain't taking that literal. Okay, fine, don't take it literal, but let's chew the meat and spit out the fat. Let's take what is righteous and real and remove the poison.
Yep, and that's all it is, man. They had those conversations back in those days. That's why Paul said that.
Right.
He said that.
Right.
Those tensions were coming up at those times. And remember, the Romans were in power at that time. So their thing was, what's the newest philosophy out? What's the newest idea that's out there? So you had all of this going on. Then you had this little pocket of Christianity just starting to bubble up out of these Jewish people.
Right. Because they were, they were trying to get rid of what the Gnostic knowledge was going on, because they was we got them under control, because they was the rebels. They was
was
rebels.
a rebel.
You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, oh man, and they still connecting with this, you know, with this Kemet and with Nubia and this and that. We got, and then, you know, all the Coptics, you know, in Ethiopia, you know, we got can't do that, because, you know, that was the whole thing. The Romans, it was their ego. They hated that they was born from the Greeks, which the Greeks were born from the African. So for them to trace back their roots, to say, damn, we still got that, we got to get rid of that. You know what I'm saying? So here comes, you know, so then you start getting soter, right? You get Ptolemy, right? The second. Then you get the word, you know, soteriology, you know, we're going to make up some shit. We're gonna call it, you know, our own this and that. And then we're going to create salvation. Well, this is the definition of salvation. It doesn't mean this. And we're going to get rid of that, you know, and you're going to worship this. And you go, what? You know, I mean, the Romans was something else.
It was a cold
the Romans was something else.
Whole time.
We're gonna infiltrate this. You know, we're gonna take this over, rename that. You know what I'm saying? Burn that library down, destroy those statues. Let's, you know,
kill that shit, burn it down, and then we're gonna go over here and we're gonna conquer these people, and we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna put names on all of this, and then we're gonna, you know. So even Flavius Josephus, I don't want to get too deep because we're coming up on the end. But Flavius Josephus even said that, and he said that about the Greeks, that they thought that they're the creators of civilization. Those are the words that Flavius Josephus actually used when he talked about the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans, that they thought that they were the creators of everything.
Man, it goes even deeper than Flavius, but you know, we coming up on the end, so you know, say we might have to save this one for another type of topic, another discussion. You know, but before we do go, I definitely want to, you know, let folks know and let you know, man. Flavorful Life, seasonings and spice. You know, I make life taste right, man. And if you ever interested in anything, any of the products, man, hit me up. Hit me on the DM in Instagram, you know, at FlavandSpice. You can hit me up on the DM on DBWT888. You can hit me up on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as Jamel Hill. You know, you can hit me up with our networking business organization, which is Smoke and Sip LLC. You know, and get with, man. Anybody can get with us, man. And we just trying to create more unity. We're trying to help people understand more ways to develop the streams of income in order to survive and thrive and provide for themselves and their families, to be able to do more and be more with their lives, man. We're trying to elevate people to really, truly understand that they can be more than what they are and to not be a wasted talent, man. So, you know what? I got a gift for you, man. I got a gift for you. If you get down with them, man, I got a nice little pack for you. That's all you. And you can sprinkle it on some of your foods, your soups, your stews, your meat.
Absolutely, brother. We'll do.
Make sauces, whatever, man. So yeah.
Appreciate you, man. I'll shoot you my address once we done, man. You're going to send
man,
that.
you got to. You got to. Man. And I'm delivering something nice.
I bet.
Man. Right. And if I could, you know what I'm saying, if the blessings really come through, man, I might have a shirt for you, man. Just hit me with your church vibes, man. Hit me, and look, and a matter of fact, I'm gonna send you the link to the shirts and you can tell me which one. Because I got a cold one, man. I got a cold one with Martin Luther King on it, man. That he pointing at you like this, saying, "Don't be wasting talent." Man, I got a Malcolm one in the works, man, and a Garvey one that I'm about to. Ooh, let me stop letting cats out the bag, man.
Hold that one.
I'm RBG for real.
There you go.
Man, you already know. You already know.
Brother Jamel Hill, I really appreciate your time tonight, brother. Thank you very much, man, for just giving us everything that you gave us, man. And I'll put all the links when I air the show this Tuesday. I'll go ahead and put all the links in there for the family.
Definitely. Right on.
Connect with you. So, family, thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of Mosaic Entertainment Group. This presents. This episode, man, was very, very enlightening. I had some great conversations, but this one was much more in depth of what this whole thing about Mosaic Entertainment Group is about. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Once again, like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Same thing with Facebook. Check my brother Jamel Hill out. I will definitely put all the links here in the bio. Everybody, appreciate your time. Appreciate you for, spending a little time with me on my podcast. God bless you all. You have a great night, Brother Jamil Hill. Once again, thank you very much, man. I really
Indeed, man. I love you so much, bro. Jermaine, coming from the shoulders at you.
Yes,
man.
Sir.
All right, Doc.
All right.
Take care, man. Much love and respect.
Much
Peace.
love, brother. Much love, and have a great night.